Lost star in the black, never ever coming back. Dead moon in the sky, watching the comet fly. Orbit stops, planets halt, locking the cosmic vault. Asteroid hits the ground, making no crashing sound. Stranger lands on your sphere, bringing you instant cheer. He aligns with your sun, look at what you have done. Telescope, broken lens, this is how the cosmos ends. Meteor passes by, leaving a trail to die. By the shift in the space, leaving this familiar place. Gravity loses hold, feeling so very cold. Falling down the black hole, trading forever for a brief spark, leaving me stranded in the deep dark. You picked a comet over the sun. Now the disaster has finally begun. Zero signals through the night, losing the guiding light. I am a shadow on the moon, ending this way too soon. Fades away, turning the colors gray. Saturn rings break apart, crushing my beating core. Constellation changes shape, no way to now escape. Solar flare burns the eyes, swallowing giant light. It shines bright in your view, blocking out the honest truth. Lunar phase shifting fast, nothing is built to last. Milky Way turns to dust, losing all mutual trust. Atmosphere venting out, living with every doubt. Did you plan the eclipse, reading the moving lips? You align with the star, traveling very far. I am just space debris, floating in the galaxy. Traded the endless years for a few bitter tears. Trading forever for a brief spark, leaving me stranded in the deep dark. You picked a comet over the sun. Now the disaster has finally begun. Zero signals through the night, losing the guiding light. I am a shadow on the moon, ending this way too soon. Two-faced neon, glowing tube on the tavern, deep inside the concrete cavern. Yellow flash, purple dye, underneath the smoggy sky. Signboards humming loud, hidden in the massive throng. Knowing this is totally wrong, chilled unto the marrow. Path is very narrow. Double life, double mask, failing the moral quiz, wondering where my dignity is. He receives a greeting in your secret meeting. Artificial bright glare, caught inside the spider web, watching the current ebb, feeling see why the bluff. I am acting very tough, illuminated facade, walking on the promenade, dropping to the pavement, trapped in enslavement. Two-faced neon, buzzing in the night, bathing the alley in artificial light. You showed a profile I did not recognize, taking off the cover right before my eyes. He gets the vibrate glow inside of you, leaving me the broken and the dark. It's you, electricity failing in the wire, standing in the middle of the city fire. Cobblestone Avenue, bathing in the toxic hue, color shift to pitch black, pierced me in the lower spine, drinking the sour brine, tasting the foul dirt, living with the severe hurt. Transformers hum and hiss, desiring honest care, grasping at the vapor. He escorts you around, walking on the asphalt ground, trapped inside the dungeon like a ruined sponge. You pretend to be sweet, strolling down the busy street. Neon gas burns red, pounding in my temple. Nothing is ever simple. Did you paint a mural, adding the plural? You plus him equals two. What am I to become? Chewing on the bubble gum, spitting out the flavor, nothing left to savor. Double-sided plastic board, cutting the umbilical cord. Two-faced neon, buzzing in the night, bathing the alley in artificial light. Short a profile I did not recognize, taking off the cover right before my eyes. Guess the vibrant glow inside of you, leaving me the broken and the darkest hue. Electricity failing in the wire, standing in the middle of the city fire. The city fire. The city fire. Bulb explodes, shattered glass, watching the taxes pass. Neon sign goes dark, leaving a permanent mark. Two-faced neon ends. Perfume on my soul. Golden spray, glass flacon, waiting for the coming dawn. Mist escapes from the pump, swallowing the throat lump. Sweet extract fills the room, sweeping with the witch's broom. Jasmine notes hit my nose, smelling the dying rose. He inhales your bouquet, chasing my peace away. Floral waft on your skin, letting the sorrow in. He detects your cologne, chewing on the marrow bone. Fragrance lands on his chest, failing the loyalty test. Aroma drifts down the hall, staring at the drywall. Why the sun, why the smell, living in a personal hell. Odor hangs in the breeze, catching a fatal disease, choking on the vapor trail. Her perfume on my soul, taking a massive toll. Breathing in your ghost, the thing I miss the most. She sprayed it on a stranger, putting me in danger. The essence will not fade. Look at the mess you made, invisible and toxic cloud, crying in the silent crowd, clinging to my weary lungs, speaking in the foreign tongue. Scent of you is air. gasping for the purest air. Vanilla drop, amber musk, waiting for the evening dusk. Olfactory punishment, wondering where your loyalty went. Nostrils burn from the spice, rolling the loaded dice. Essence trapped in the weave, begging you to grant reprieve. He breathes in your sweet draft, sailing on the sinking raft. Droplets dry on the collar, worth a single paper dollar. Wafting through the corridor, cannot take it anymore. Suffocating in the scent, wondering what your whispers meant. Did you dab on his wrist, leaving me in the mist? Spritzing on your pulse point, aching in every joint. I inhale the regret, smoking a cigarette, exhaling the bitter ash, waiting for the thunder crash. Perfume stains the memory, robbing my surrender. Perfume on my soul, taking a massive toll. Breathing in your ghost, the thing I miss the most. You sprayed it on a stranger, putting me in danger. The essence will not fade. Look at the mess you made, invisible and toxic cloud, crying in the silent crowd, clinging to my weary lungs, speaking in the foreign tongue. Said of you is everywhere, gasping for the purest air. Purest air. Hold my breath, close my eyes, listening to the giant lies. Scent decays, fades to not, losing all the wars I fought. Her perfume on my fades, fades. Clinical cold slap, taking what I used to have. White light, plastic glove, removing our old love. Sterile tools, steel tray, throwing me far away. Newer model, better fit, hating every piece of it. Shiny frame, lower price, buying him is very nice. Spare component in the box, turning all the heavy locks. Screws turning inside out, filled with massive doubt. Current stops, motor dies, living with the hollow lies, draining out the old oil. Replacement theory in the lab, feeling every single stab. Upgrade him, downgrade me, killing the memory. Cruel exchange, everything is rearranged. You found a different soul, leaving me without control. Polished surface, smooth edges, breaking all the verbal pledges. Improved version on the shelf, hating how I see myself. He operates perfectly, not a glitch for you to see. System check, logic fails, driving in the iron nails. Zero pings in the queue, searching for the old you. Inbox frozen like a stone, living life all alone. type, believing in the social hype, discarded in the bin, letting the void win, technical abandonment, wondering where my essence went. Scrap part on the floor, cannot take anymore. Replacement theory in the lab, feeling every single stab. Upgrade him, downgrade me, killing the memory. Functional cruel exchange, everything is rearranged. You found a different soul, leaving me without control. Shut down, remove part, killing the organic heart. Theory proved over. Memory foam, Springsville Creek, 7 days pass me by. Feathered down, cotton thread, other side of the bed. Comforter pushed aside, nowhere left to reside. Textiles chill in the gloom, pacing around the bedroom. Cellular data stream, waking from the nightmare sleep. Chatting box stays at null, pulling the sheepish wool. He is there in your flat, petting your stray cat. Symbols remain unlit, throwing a massive tantrum. Asking the stucco roof, looking for solid proof. Why the leap to the new, hating this point of view. Slipping off the mattress pad. The other side of the bed is a frozen tundra now, breaking the soul, I swear. Breathing the winter gust, sinking the metal boat, slitting the tray to throw. You sleep beside him while my bulbs fail. The mattress is too high, swallowing the rising tide. He takes up all the sheets, walking down the foreign streets. SMS stays ignored, feeling so underscored. Wishing I could just flee. You forgot about me. Upload show his embrace, running a futile sprint, reading the fine print. Comfort falls to the heart. Who did what I surely could. He assumes my position, ruining my condition. Pajamas folded on the chair, tugging at my own hair. Morning dawns very bleak, tears upon my cheek. Did you invite him to stay? Chasing my calmness away, replacing the former guy without a proper farewell. The bedding is too neat, admitting my total loss. Sleeping on the frozen moss, taking over my domain, bringing on the heavy rain. The other side of the bed is a frozen tundra now, breaking the soul, I swear. Breathing the winter gust, sinking the metal boat, slitting the tray to throw. You sleep beside him while my bulbs fail. The mattress is too high, swallowing the rising tide. He takes up all the sheets, walking down the foreign streets. Stacked 2 by 2, nothing I can ever do. Other side remains bare, sitting in the rocking chair. Other side of the bed, empty. earbuds rest on the desk, feeling so grotesque. Soothing hum was a scam, wondering who I really am. Gentle tunes sung so sweet, tripping on my own feet. Decoy guy hears the hum, beating on the kettle drum. He receives the gentle chord, swinging the samurai sword. Comforting notes stuck in my dry throat, barking like a stray hound. Not a single honest sound. By the fake melody, committing a felony, stealing the treble clef, going completely tone deaf, tumbling down the scale. Fraudulent lullaby, singing a counterfeit tune, ending the concert soon. You hum to a replacement, banished to the basement, trapped in the balcony, committing this treachery. The soothing notes were faked. Look at the bones you break, giving him the serenade, watching my sanity fade, ignoring my awful pleads while my spirit bleeds. Playback stops, reel is stuck, relying on terrible luck. Acoustic wave flattens out, fostering the inner dread, resting on the hard plank. Money drained from the bank, volume dial turned to zero, falling like a tragic hero. Takes a dip, biting my lower lip, baseline disappears, crying those audio tears. He absorbs a sweet pitch, falling in the canyon gap, caught in the spider snare, gasping for the thin air. Did you write a fake song, stringing me right along, composing a deceit, accepting the penalty, paying the awful fee of sing to another ear, bringing the nightmare here, forged audio file corrupt, volcano will erupt. Fraudulent lullaby, singing a counterfeit tune, ending the concert soon. You hum to a replacement, banished to the basement, trapped in the balcony, committing this treachery. The soothing notes were faked. Look at the bones you break, giving him the serenade, watching my sanity fade, ignoring my awful pleads while my spirit bleeds. While my spirit bleeds. Earbuds off, music dies, swallowing the vocalize. Silent track ends the play, nothing left to really say. Fraudulent lullaby ends. Bargain bin, half price, rolling the wooden dice, leftover evening meal, signing the closing deal. Scrap metal, rusty wire, feeding the kitchen fire. Auction block, gavel hits, shattered in tiny bits. He bids highest wage, turning a yellow page. New owner claims the deed, planting a toxic weed. Handover is complete, sitting on the concrete. You belong to the gent, wondering where my value went. Why the pawn, why the cell, ringing the copper bell, passed along like a dime, guilty of nothing wrong, slipping off the steep ledge. Secondhand romance, sold at the market, hitting the target. I am a used object, failing the project. You auctioned my spirit, he was eager to hear it, hear it, hear it. Pass Pass down the ladder, nothing is sadder. Traded for copper, such a showstopper. Bargain bin lover, under the cover. Clearance aisle, bottom shelf, pity in my poor self. Marked down 70%, sleeping in the camping tent. Yard sale on the lawn, waiting for the sunrise. Ignoring your disguise, he collects the rewards. Striking the major chord, taking home the grand prize. Looking at your eyelash, counting out the paper cash. Transaction finalized, totally paralyzed. Was I a rental car, driven so very far? Leases up, turned it in, letting the buyer win. You flip me for a buck, relying on dumb luck. Second-hand merchandise, paying the ultimate price. Second-hand romance, sold at the market, hitting the target. I am a used object, failing the project. You auctioned my spirit, he was eager to hear it. Pass down the ladder, nothing is sadder. Traded for copper, such a showstopper. Bargain bin lover, under the cover. Watching the receipt burn, used goods boxed away. Nothing left to convey. Second-hand romance ends. Graphite marks on the grid, tracing out what you did. Ruler guides every stroke, all the rules that you flexed. Wondering what happens next, straight edge drawn so bold. Fable spun, dark and cold. Compass spins, making arcs, leaving those ugly scars. Calculating every move, nothing left to improve. Drafting up his debut, shifting all the focus to his layout. Takes my spot, grabbing all that I offered. Why the draft, why the sketch? Feeling like a ruined stretch. Measuring the exact width, making me a wounded myth. Scaling down the final size. The blueprint of a lie, drawn with heavy ink, pushing me to the brink. You engineered this, calculated every degree, taking it away from me. He is your new design, crossing the solid line, framing me as the past, building a structure fast, turning my worth to grit, forcing me to submit. This is what you drew, I am nothing to you. I am nothing to you. Angles meet at the base, giving him my own realm, taking the captain's helm. Geometry is so harsh, sinking in the wet marsh. Eraser rubs out my name, I am not in the plan, just a broken man. Measurements are exact, a matter of calculated fact. Triangle with three sides, watching where the serpent glides. Mapping out my exit door, cannot fight this cold war. Grid lines show the exact path, facing the silent math. Your sketching before opening the main valve. Drafting board is so vast, tying me to the mast. You plotted coordinates, sealing my somber doom. Architecture of deceit, crashing on more useless saving. The blueprint of a lie, drawn with heavy ink, pushing me to the brink. You engineered this, calculated every degree, taking it away from me. Is your new design, crossing the solid line, framing me as the past, building a structure fast, turning my work to grit, forcing me to submit. This is what you drew. I am nothing to you. I am nothing to you. Pencil down, paper rips, counting all the passing ticks. Blueprint is finished now, sipping the hemlock. Blueprint of a light seizes. Morning glare through the blinds, losing what sanity finds. Yellow beam hits the rug, pulled away the vital plug. Airborne dust floats around, not a peep, not a sound. Squinting hard at the glow, watching the shadows grow. Watching the shadows grow. Midday strike, baking heat, sweeping me off my feet. Sunburn stings on my neck, looking at the empty deck. Breathing is very hard, staring at the front yard. He receives your daylight, stealing my basic right. Why the dawn, why the sun, look at the damage done. Worst agony I ever felt, watching the glaciers melt. Ultraviolet piercing through. Tainted sunlight pouring in the hall, watching the curtains fall. You bask with an alternate, leaving me desperate. Radiance is poison now, wiping the sweat from my brow. He absorbs your warmth. I am begging, please, solar rays are ruined. Look at what is brewing, blinded by the yellow glare, gasping for the summer air. Afternoon sinking low, nowhere else left to go. Golden hour turns to dirt, living with the maximum hurt. Horizon line swallows you, nothing left to attempt. Feeling so very unkempt. He enjoys the sunset, making the final move. Nothing left to ever prove. Dusk settles in the sky, twilight brings zero text. Fearing what approaches me, failing to simply be. Blocking out the daylight, ruining my eyesight. You absorb his bright rays, spending all your sunny days. I am in the shadowlands, emptying my bare hands. Tainted beams from above, ending our summer love. Tainted sunlight pouring in the hall, watching the curtains fall. You bask with an alternate, leaving me desperate. Radiance is poison now, wiping the sweat from my brow. He absorbs your warmth. I am begging, please, solar rays are ruined. Look at what is brewing, blinded by the yellow glare, gasping for the summer air. Gasping for the summer air. Sun goes down again, counting the passing clouds, hiding from the daytime. Tainted sunlight fades. shell, falling down the wishing well. Joints give way, structures fold, feeling numb, feeling old. Fingers pull, edges part, breaking my fragile core. Divide the whole into two, nothing left I can do. He steps in, wins the bout, forcing my presence out. Fault line opens wide, nowhere for me to hide. Tremor shakes on the desk, looking at the ugly mess. Monitor dims, power drains, trapped inside heavy chains. Why the split, why the tear, sitting on the wooden stair. Rupture spreads across the tile, cannot take another mile. Detaching every piece, tearing the seams, ripping the bond of which I was fond. You split us apart with a sudden start. He gets the intact while I slowly crack, dividing the space, erasing my face. The rupture is huge, a cruel subterfuge, breaking the joint, missing the point. Status shows you are online, sending him the secret sign. Typing dots never show, dealing with the heavy blow. Rift expands, swallows me, floating on the black lake, waiting for the ground to quake. He mends your broken parts while my mind slowly departs, severing the main route, wearing the morning suit. Modern lights flashing fade, looking at the choice you made, pounding in my weary head, wishing I was just dead. Did you force the divide, taking him for a ride, splitting up the given pair, leaving me in despair? You unzipped the reality, creating this tragedy. Seems give out, pressure built. Look how it's sorrow yields, tearing the seams, ripping the bond of which I was fond. You split us apart with a sudden start. He gets the intact while I slowly crack, dividing the space, erasing my face. The rupture is huge, a cruel subterfuge, breaking the joint, missing the point. Ripped apart, torn away, at the end of the day. Seams are gone, wide awake. Look at what you forsake, tearing the seams now. Fragile vase slips and falls, echoes bounce off the walls. Shards of ice on the wood, never truly understood. Barefoot steps, bleeding heel, losing what I used to feel. Transparent little cuts, spilling out my own guts. Different guy at your gate, walking in the quiet space, takes your hand while I cry underneath the weeping willow, crying on the soft pillow. Tiptoe now, very slow, nowhere safe for me to go. Why the smash, why the break? Look at the mess you make. Fragments hide in the mat, stepping on where you sat, slicing deep through the skin. Broken glass promises scattered across the floor, walking right out the door. You drop the crystal clear, leaving the danger here. He steps around the mess, ignoring nothing is left to say. Screen is blank, cursor stays, counting the empty weeks. Tears upon my dry face, vanishing without trace. No new text, no new mail, watching the flower droop, stuck inside this awful loop. He will buy you a drink, leaving me cold and stiff, sweeping off the debris with a small dustpan. I am a ruling guy, waiting to just expire, thrown in the bottom pit, hating the sudden shift. Did you smash it for fun, knowing the pain it brings, cutting the puppet strings? You let go of the bass, shattering the display, far apart from my soul, losing all self-control. Broken glass promises scattered across the floor, walking right out the door. You drop the crystal clear, leaving the danger here. Steps around the mess, ignoring my distress. Jagged edges point up, spilling the water cup, bleeding from every stride. Nowhere to run away. Nothing is left to say. Dustpan full, bleeding feet, walking slow. Broken glass promises cut deep. Done. Origami folded neat, sitting on the royal seat. Pencil lines drawn so faint, acting like a holy saint. Flimsy hat on my head, ruling o'er the walking dead. Cardboard sword in my grip, watching the kingdom slip. Armor shines on his chest, you declare he is best. Metal plates, iron shield, forcing me to simply yield. Castle gates open wide, inviting the night inside. I am just a playing card, falling in the courtyard. Why the joke? Why the mock? Staring at the ticking clock, empire toppling down, wearing this pathetic crown, losing all my command. The paper crown melts in the rain, ruling over so much pain. You made me king of an empty room, marching to my early tomb. He wears real heavy gold, leaving me in the cold. A fake monarch on a wooden chair, sovereign of the empty air. Courier never comes, twiddling my weary thumbs. Messenger lost the route, pulling up the poison root. The screen is black, royal decree, nobody talks to me. Monarchy hits the ground, he plants flags on the hill, doing things at his will. Conqueror takes the land, slipping right through my hand. Trumpets play for his reign, and my short domain. Usurper claims the throne, chewing on the marrow bone. Did you fold the headpiece, refusing my release? Scissor cuts through the sheet, walking down the cobble street, crafting a mockery, setting the invader free. Cardboard tears, sopping wet, paying off the royal debt. The paper crown melts in the rain, ruling over so much pain. You made me king of an empty room, to my early tomb. He wears real heavy gold, leaving me in the cold. Fake monarch on a wooden chair, sovereign of the empty crown is mush on the tile, exiled for a long while. Dynasty overthrown, sitting here all alone. Paper crown falls, falls. Mind is packed, mouth is shut, swarm of bees in the gut. Traffic jam in the brain, riding on the silent train. Alphabet locks away, not a noun left to say. Engine revs, gear is stuck, running out of total luck. Another man hears your voice, making his vocal choice. Syllables given out, living with this mental drought. He replies very fast, making all the chatting last. I am mute on the line, losing this mind of mine. Why the hush, why the mute? Plucking the rotten fruit. Vocal cords tied in knots, connecting the quiet dots. Plunging in the silent pool. 1,000 thoughts, zero spoken words. Watching the flying flock of quiet birds. You gave my voice to another guy, never telling me the reason why. Brain is yelling loud, lips are tightly sealed. Look at all the damage that this quiet yields. Mental highways blocked, nothing getting through. Silenced by the ghost, silenced just by you. Silence just by you. Keyboard rest, fingers halt, locking up the mental vault. Sentences never form, weathering the quiet gale. Dictionary closed up tight, losing the speechless fight. Voiceless now, every eve, watching you slowly leave. He converses through the night, basking in the ember spark. I forgot how to claim, language fails, grammar dies. Looking at the velvet drape, paragraphs trapped inside. Nowhere for my mind to hide. Did you plan the quiet act, making it a silent fact? Muzzling my heavy soul, digging this speechless hole. Thoughts race like a car crashing on the tarmac edge. Vowels choke, consonants fade. Looking at the silent blade. 1,000 thoughts, zero spoken words. Watching the flying flock of quiet birds. You gave my voice to another guy, never telling me the reason why. Brain is yelling loud, lips are tightly sealed. Look at all the damage that this quiet yields. Mental highways blocked, nothing getting through. Silenced by the ghost, silenced just by you. Thousands of racing thoughts, tied up in heavy knots. Zero words. Come on out, living with the quiet doubt. 1,000 thoughts fade. Heavy stone tied to feet, tasting this sure defeat. Riddle me this dark room, waiting for pending doom. Guessing games never cease, robbing my inner peace. Interrogate the ceiling fan, a defeated hollow man. He arrived, took the prize right before these tired eyes. Carry him, carry you, what did I fail to do? Puzzle piece does not fit, forced to just take the hit. Ocean floor getting near, swallowed by massive fear. Looping why, looping when, starting it all again. Asking the empty space, falling from your good grace. Plunging down the deep trench, drowning in questions, dropping the anchor. Swallowing all this bitter rancor. You picked a stranger, left me to guess. Creating this massive emotional mess. Asking the shadows, where did we fail? Trapped in the belly of the dark well. Endless inquiries flooding my brain, washing away in this endless domain. Interviews with the ghost, serving as tragic host. Question mark, punctuate, arriving so very late. And quest is open wide, nowhere for truth to bite. Survey says I am done losing this marathon. He provides all the clues while I sing the deep blues. You solve his mystery, making me history. Exam is very hard, playing the losing card. Pressure builds in the dark, missing the vital spark. Did you know the response? Ignoring my fondest wants, keeping the answers back, fading to utter black. Who and what, where and why, watching the seagull fly. Submarine going down, wearing a sorrow gown. Drowning in questions, dropping the anchor. Swallowing all this bitter rancor. You picked a stranger, left me to guess. Creating this massive emotional mess. Asking the shadows, where did we fail? Trapped in the belly of the dark well. Endless inquiries flooding my brain, washing away in this endless domain. This endless domain. No reply to the quiz, wondering what safety is. Questions sink to the bed, heavy as solid lead. Drowning in questions now. Static hums in the chord, feeling so overboard. Pendulum swings back, walking on the dirt track. Pulse beats in the vein, going quite insane. Vibrations in the wood, wishing I simply could. He talks very low, watching the river flow. Chattering in the den, losing you once again. Muttering sweet things, cutting off my angel wings. Audio fills the space, face, tears upon my tired face. Why the roar, why the din, shedding this human skin, deafening quietness, adding to the sheer stress. Ringing pitch hurts the skull. Noise in the quiet, starting a riot. Silence is screaming while I am dreaming. You whisper to him, making my heart slim. The stillness is loud, away from the crowd, ringing inside my head, filled with the heavy dread. The echo is fierce, watching the arrow pierce. Faucet drips in the tub, joining the lonely club. Ticking clock on the desk, looking at the grotesque. Breathing is too rough, I am not quite enough. Pitch whines in the ear, living with the harsh fear. He chuckles at your jest, failing the heart quest. Murmuring in the hall, staring at the plaster wall. Giggling fills the air, sitting in my old chair. Buzzing lamp flickers out, bringing the loud dog. Did you make all this racket, wearing his winter jacket? Turning up the volume knob, acting like a fierce mob. Stillness brings a sharp bang, tasting the viper fang. Ringing ears never fade, resting in the dark shade. Noise in the quiet, starting a riot. Silence is screaming while I am dreaming. You whisper to him, making my heart slim. The stillness is loud, away from the crowd, ringing inside my head, filled with the heavy dread. The echo is fierce, watching the arrow pierce. Watching the arrow pierce. Static hums, never stops, waiting for the heavy drops. Loudest hush in the brain, nothing left to explain. Noise in the quiet. Wheels spin, gears grind, deep inside this ruined psyche. Film rewinds back and forth, losing my magnetic north. Pacing on the wooden plank, drawing from a vacant bank. Loops repeat without an end, breaking what I cannot mend. He pops up in the post, standing by the happy host, analyzing every frame, going mad without an aim. Pixel blurs on the lens, wondering where the spiral ends. Calculating every smirk, watching the mechanics work. Why the change, why the flip, sinking on the pirate ship. Dizzy spell takes a hold, freezing in the winter frost. Tumbling in the dizzy spin. Overthinking the overthinking, watching the final vessel sinking. Analyzing every tiny detail, riding on the broken rail. You chose a substitute to follow, making my existence hollow. Replaying the film again, living in the spider den, spiraling out of bounds, chasing the phantom hounds. Chasing the phantom hounds. Knots tied, tighter still, drinking from the poison cup. Tangled string on the ground, chasing a ghostly hound. Flashing dot on the app, caught inside the hunter trap. Logic bends, reason fails, pounding in the metal spikes. He assumes the captaincy, walking to a different beat. Examining the residue, searching for a hidden clue. Brain is fried, circuit blown, sitting on the stepping stone. Pondering the sudden jump, taking a massive bump. Did you plot every move, finding a better groove? Waiting for the axe to drop, begging for the right to stop. Spiraling down the hole, paying a rich toll. Overactive mental state, accepting the bitter bait. Overthinking the overthinking, watching the final vessel sinking. Analyzing every tiny detail, riding on the broken rail. You chose a substitute to follow, making my existence hollow. Replaying the film again, living in the spider den, spiraling out of bounds. Chasing the phantom hounds. Gears hold, locking up the iron gate. Film stops, end of reel. Zero things left to feel. Overthinking, the overthinking. Done. Caught inside the steel jaw, waiting for the final straw. Hesitation weighs a ton, nowhere to safely run. Limbo state, crushing down, wearing the heavy frown. Balancing act on the wire, losing my inner fire. He delivers certainty, stealing your loyalty. Firm decisions that he makes, causing these earthquakes. Solid ground beneath his feet, walking down the paved lane, taking on the heavy strain. He provides the exact noun, taking down my whole town. Why the pause, why the wait? Locking up the brass latch, lighting up the last match. Crushing pressure from above, ruining the hesitant love. Plunging in the canyon deep, the weight of maybe pressing on my spine, crossing over the definitive line. You gave him certainty while I dangle here, living in the middle, gripped by the severe. You made up your mind, left the doubt behind. I carry the perhaps, waiting for collapse, the burden of the gas, adding to the stress. Fading to a dark beige, feeling the blind rage. Scale tips to his side, swallowing my foolish pride. Gravity pulls to the core, cannot endure anymore. Pending status, heavy load, stuck upon the dirt road. He's sure I am guest, playing a game of chess. Absolute truth in his hand, playing in the marching band. I am just a mighty beast, chopping down the oak tree, hovering midway in the air, grasping at the nothing there. Did you plan the delay, keeping me at bay, holding on to a chance, failing the final dance? You chose the definite path, taking a blood bath. Maybe is an anvil sitting on the windowsill, crushing my frail bones, throwing the heavy stone. The weight of maybe pressing on my spine, crossing over the definitive line. You gave him certainty while I dangle here, living in the middle, grid stops, hanging coma, ending the awful drama. Wave of maybe drops. Salty drop on the lash, turning into grey ash. Puddle dries on the chin, letting the desert wind. Body is very frail, following the barren trail. Liquid stops at the brink, needing just a tiny drink. He arrived with the bowl, taking over my old role. Dehydrated in a core, cannot weep anymore. Oasis belongs to the new. Look at what you dragged me through. Parched throat, cannot swallow. This existence is so hollow. Why the drought, why the drain, removing all the channel rain. Gland is empty, bone is dry, saying the final goodbye. Stumbling through the barren sand, the last hit to fall rolls into the dirt, maximizing the hurt. You gave him the well, banished to this hell. The reservoir is bare, breathing arid air. Final droplet escapes, taking ugly shapes. The wellspring is denied. I am dead inside. Status update shows a beach out of my pathetic reach. Pixels glint in the sand, reaching out a withered hand. Notification never chimes, counting up the bitter times. Moisture fades from the skin, where do I even begin? He consumes the gentle stream, stealing the entire dream. A riverbed turns to clay, washing my hope away. You bathe in the flood, mixing with the heavy mud, and I am left to just bake, shaking from the tragic ache. Did you cause a severe heat, baking the gravel street, evaporating all the damp, turning off the lantern lamp? Moisture leaves the weary eye, looking at the orange sky. It evaporates so fast, the sorrow will forever last. Forever last. The last tear to fall rolls into the dirt, maximizing the hurt. You gave him the well, banished to this hell. The reservoir is bare, breathing arid air. Final droplet escapes, taking ugly shapes. The wellspring is denied. I am dead inside. I am dead inside. It's the floor, weeping is no more. Arid cheek, nothing left, punished by the grand theft. Last tear falls down. White mask, tape it on, wait for you to be gone. Polite nod, simple grin, let in the cold wind. Perfect act, full of pride, rotting deep down inside. Costume fits tight and thin, where do I even begin? Type it out, hit delete, walking down a dead street. Notification stays gray, nothing left to convey. He likes your recent post, I am just a gray ghost. Digital severance, losing all my relevance. Why the play, why the show, watching my spirit go. Script is read line by line, claiming that I am fine, falling through the hollow floor. back what you take. Brush strokes cover up, drinking from the lead cup, painting on a new skin, losing what is within. Cracks show on the floor, cannot do anymore. Canvas rips at the edge, standing on the wooden ledge. Question mark in the air, tugging on my own hair. Why him, why not me? Ending our history, looping on the same track, never ever coming back. He assumes the lead part, stabbing at my hollow heart. Stage is dark, house is empty, sorrows have such a plenty. He is loud, I am dim, everything is about him. Applause dies, curtain drops, the fake blood never stops. Just a lie on my lip, losing my final grip. I'm fine, that's the phrase, lost within the heavy haze. You picked him over me, something I can't unsee. Building up the giant wall, waiting for the heavy fall. I am fine, watch me break, giving back what you take. Wash the pain off my face, leaving this awful place. Two small words said in time, committing a silent crime. I am fine now. Blank thread, nothing there, sitting in the swivel chair. Battery low, screen goes dim, you are now texting him. Green dot fades away, nothing left for me to say. Profile pic changes now, wiping the sweat from my brow. He logs on, claims the spot, I am just something forgot. Typing bubble starts to dance, giving him the second chance. Wi-Fi cuts, router dies, sick of all the digital lies. Cable frayed, signal lost, calculating the final cost. Why the shift, why the swap, waiting for the shoe to drop. Unplugging the main cord, swinging the heavy sword, plunging in the quietude. A new kind of silence, heavy on the lung, bitter on the tongue. You type to a newcomer, ruining the summer. No alert on my phone, dying here alone. The update never comes, biting on my thumbs. He gets all your focus, like a magic hocus. Muted notifications, ruined expectations. Status reads do not disturb, kick me to the concrete curb. History wiped clean, ugliest thing I've seen. Data dumped in the trash, burning up like dry ash. Folder 0, inbox null, feeling so incredibly dull. He receives the goodnight, turning off my ceiling light. Server down, connection failed, ship has already sailed. Loading bar stuck in place, cannot see your digital face. Avatar turns to gray, chasing my hope away. Did you block my account? Toll is at the max amount. You removed my access, leaving me in distress. Changing your attitude, entering this quietude. Not a ping, not a chime, frozen in this awful time. A new kind of silence, heavy on the lung, bitter on the tongue. You type to a newcomer, ruining the summer. No alert on my phone, dying here alone. The update never comes, biting on my thumbs. It gets all your focus, like a spice off, catching a nervous cough, unread text forever, a new kind of